So you say you pretty certain that you would have said forklift?
Ma'am, I would bet the last cent in my pocket that I said forklift. I said forklift.
And also because those were the documents that you had. The forklift was
Yes.
documents that you were given to you.
ma'am.
Okay. And then at number 4, she says multiple allegations of alleged criminal conduct by the political killings task team, such as the procurement of vehicles, excessive budget for laundry using the Secret Service account. Do you recall that?
Ma'am, this is even clearer to me than Easter. Because even at Parliament, and you can go check the recordings, I was gunning them about the R500,000 a year laundry bill for the PKTT, that they're spending 10,000 Rand a night per officer at 5-star hotels. I was at war with the portfolio over that. It would have been in my section 27. I mean, if nothing else, commissioners, that if I given you a one-pager, that would have been in there.
Okay. And then 5, vehicles that were procured for the PKTT being used by the former Minister of Police, Mr. Cele, for his personal use.
That I know I spoke about. I don't want to lie, sit here and tell you I did it. I know I mentioned it. I did not have evidence at the time. So please allow me to be a little bit ambivalent about that one.
Okay. Then the last one, number 6, purchasing of hotels or lodges and or properties using the Secret Service account.
Can I just take a minute, just a second? Advocate, will you allow me to leave a question mark there?
Okay.
Thank you.
So in actual fact, you can't assist us as to whether this 512 to 516, you say you're certain that you mentioned forklift and PKTT and these allegations, but you don't know what this document is in, because there's some of it that was contained in what you recall handing over to Mr. Perumal, but some things that should be in there, allegations that you recall were in there, are not in there.
Advocate, if I can tell you honestly, I'm probably the most confused person in this room right now, because this is making me question my own sanity right now, but I know I put those things in there.
Okay, and what compounds it is that you confirm the signatures on the pages?
Yes, I can't speak for Councillor Solomon's. I can't speak for, but these appear to be my signatures.
Okay.
So can I just check, Mr. Adams? You say you don't recall. What could you have been saying about the PKTT in your affidavit? That must be clear. You must be clear about that.
I can tell you what I said about the PKTT.
Yes.
And I'm not going to mention the officer's name because I believe cases are being withdrawn today. But there was one gentleman who was a driver, who was promoted from a driver, which I believe to be a sergeant, to a lieutenant colonel. He skipped various ranks. And that, I know I mentioned that. I asked to look into that. I asked.
You see, you yesterday you said that among other people that you discussed with is Professor Miss Dihas and Miss Mashale. There had been discussions about the stuff that eventually forms part of your complaints, and I think it's a valid question. If you say you are not sure about what you said in that affidavit, or whether what Miss Ramsamy has summarized, whether that is what you said, you surely must be able to say, here's my complaint that I had at the time about the PKTT. That I would expect you to remember. The same with the buildings, where she says your complaint include the Secret Service fund being used to get buildings. I would expect you to remember clearly and say, I could never have said that, because the first time I heard about it was long after I had filed my affidavit. So I'm struggling with that you don't remember things as specific as that. And to remember, I'm not saying to you, you did put it in the affidavit. I'm even allowing for you saying, I could never have said that. I could not have spoken about the laundry expenditure in their budget because it's not material that was within my knowledge in November.
So,
Yes, you may.
oh, I thought.
I've raised two things with you. The one is the buildings, the properties being bought, and the other is about the PKTT expenditure. And if you have already dealt with the PKTT laundry expenditure, I'm happy to leave it, and you've given an answer. But the purchase of the buildings, you must remember whether you knew or didn't know, or had a gripe about it by November 2024.
Commissioner, the reason I'm not saying that I did is because I want to be sure. If I tell you that it's in there, like, for example, the forklift, it's supposed to be in there. But with the buildings, I know I had a hell of a fight about the buildings, but I'm not sure if I... And let me tell you, Commissioner, I'm again leaning towards Ms. Ransami, but I can't nail it and say yes. But I am strongly leaning towards what she's saying here.
Thank you.
I want to raise a few issues with you, Mr. Adams. I don't remember if I greeted you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Looking at this affidavit on 512, you say the one that you provided to IDEC made mention of the PKTT and the forklift, right? And we can see that this one does not. Please don't nod, please answer so that...
I'm acknowledging as you speak,
yes,
sir.
that's
for myself.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought you're still talking.
No,
Sorry,
that is fine. So this affidavit we're looking at then cannot be the one that you gave to IDEC on the 21st of November 2024, because according to you, the one that you gave to IDEC had in it PKTT and it had a reference to the forklift. Now, the follow-up question is, where does this one come from? The one that we're looking at, if it is not the one that you gave to IDEC in November 2024, where does this one come from?
I think Andrea Johnson is best placed to answer that, sir.
But it has your signature.
That is what, it's making me feel like I'm insane.
Yes.
If indeed I was part of whatever's going on here, I would sit here and own this is my affidavit. Yes, no, I did not mention PKTT. No, I did not mention the forklift. But this thing, this is not everything I put in there.
Did you do two Section 27 affidavits?
I did not sign the one because I wasn't happy with it, because I put in words like heister instead of forklift. This is not what, Chairperson, I hope you understand why I went to Wellington Police. Because I was in Wellington on the day this madness was happening, when I saw these things and I said, no man, none of this, I'm going to lay a charge.
Now, in October last year, this is important. In October last year, the people at IDEC, according to the emails that we have seen, were looking for a Section 27 affidavit, and they could not find it. But when this commission sought documents from IDEC, this is the document that was given to the commission. And it raises serious questions about IDEC and you, Mr. Adams. And the question in relation to you is this: did you, after October 2025, sign a Section 27 affidavit and backdate it?
No, Chairperson, and you will understand why later. You will understand why later.
Yeah. Now, can you come up with a sensible explanation why we have before us an affidavit that you say is not the affidavit you signed in November 2024?
Chairperson, someone has altered this thing. I don't know why. I don't know how. Someone has taken out information that I wanted in here. Information that I'm passionate about. Information that landed me in Pietermaritzburg prison. I can't answer that, Chairperson.
How do you explain your signature? I can understand if somebody forged the document as you allege, or they did something sinister. Advocate Ngube took you through every page and asked you if those are your initials, and you confirmed that those are your initials. Now, if this is not the document that you signed on the 21st of November, 2024, where do those initials and the signature on the last page come from?
Commissioner Kumalo, I humbly submit to this commission that the IDAC must come and explain this.
No, they cannot explain your signature. All I want is you to explain your signature. They can explain other things. They can explain why what you say was in the affidavit is not there. But for now, I want you to focus on the signature, which you say is yours. Unless you say to us that is also a forgery.
I am leaning that way, and I think it is, but I don't want to make accusations. But this, look, advocate, sorry to say, look, I have a scribble of a signature, as you can see in my affidavit also.
But do you
I would assume somebody tampered.
Do you remember initialing this document that we see in front of us?
Advocate, if I was not aware of the fact that I included words like forklift, PKTT, in my document, you could probably tell me this is my document, and I would agree with you if I was just flipping through it.
Forget about the content. Do you remember initialing this 6-page document? I think it's 5. Do you remember initialing this 5-page document and signing the last page?
Not the one before me, advocate.
Not the one before
Not the one before me. Not the one before me. There's been alterations made to this document. This is not the one that I submitted.
So you say somebody you don't know who altered this document?
Chairperson, that is clear from where I stand. Unless I've gone mad, unless I'm misreading the thing that I typed, but I'm not mad. I know it was in there. These are two things that, as I say, I'm passionate about. I've been fighting it, and it's not there, and it makes no sense. It makes no sense. I don't know why they would want to take it out.
Do the charges that you say you've laid against IDEC relate to this affidavit as well?
Chairperson, at the time when I see it, I don't think that I've gone through this affidavit. My charges relate to the way they handle my case.
Oh,
but when I speak to the investigating officer, this will certainly be one of the things that I raise.
All right. Thank you.
Then can I take you to what Mr. Rapesu said he recalls was in the section 27, and that is on page 7 of his statement. We've also asked for those files to be given to you.
Oh,
so
okay.
We can
Thank you.
Page 7. Do you have it, Mr. Adams?
I have it, ma'am.
Okay, so you'll see paragraph 21, the section 27 referral ISO, and the section 27 that served before the commission. He says, I record at the outset that I browsed the section 27 referral quickly and did not read it in full. I did not reach the last page, and I did not see who the deponent was or how it had been commissioned. What follows is my best recollection. The section 27 referral I saw dealt substantially with the political killings task team, which I refer to as the PKTT. As best I recall, it referred to the PKTT being accommodated at a lavish hotel and to the cost of their laundry, to lavish motor vehicles said to have been purchased from a slush fund and used by the former Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, and to properties and hotels in various provinces, including KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. I recall a reference in Gauteng to the Midrand or Kyalami area. Do you recall any of that before I continue?
The only thing here that I would actually, let me just make sure, sorry, ma'am. The only thing here that I would actually contest is the issue of Minister Cele, because I did not have evidence of that. And the hotels, of course, which I'm,
You're not sure.
He's essentially, the man is not, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Okay, then he says, it also dealt with political killings. In that regard, I recognize the name of a person, one Sergeant Dumisani Dlamini, whom I knew as he had been a witness of mine during my earlier service in KwaZulu-Natal, and I recall mentioning at the briefing that I knew him. Do you recall that?
I don't think that was in my submission, ma'am, but I know that he and I spoke at length about Sergeant Lamini, who's locked up, and he actually agreed with me that that man doesn't deserve prison. That's another one of those things that I'm busy with, but I don't think I would have put it in my affidavit. I don't think so.
Okay.
We spoke
can't
about
say.
it at length. I mean, I'm sure you heard the recording where his name comes up, and you obviously have heard that I'm invested in that, but I don't think I put that in there.
Okay, you don't think that you had it
I
in
think maybe Mr. Rapesh is also remembering the conversation and thinking that. I don't want to speak for him, but I don't think I put that in there.
Because he says he remembers mentioning it at the briefing, and the briefing that he's referring to is the briefing that the team had on the 6th of December 2024, so before he met you.
Their
Yes,
briefing. Okay.
their briefing, their internal briefing where they were discussing your referral. Because remember, your referral comes through, the team gets assembled, the Section 2813 is approved, and then Advocate Johnson calls a team meeting. So that's the first meeting of the investigating team and prosecutorial team. So he's referring to that briefing.
Can I answer you like this? He's the last one between the two of us to have seen the affidavit. If I may answer you like that. So I'm not going to argue with him from a point of certainty, but I wouldn't understand why I'd put that in there, because that was a totally separate fight. It was a totally separate fight.
But it was something that you were passionate about, and it had to do with the PKTT.
Yes. Actually, now that you put it like that, I might have mentioned him, but can I?
It's fine, I'm not going to press you for an
No,
answer.
it's just, I don't want to disagree with him, and because he might actually be right, but I don't want to disagree with him.
Yeah, I think I'm basing it off what you say is that it is something that you were passionate about. You discuss it at length at the meeting of 6 January 2025, insofar as the PKTT is concerned. And he then says it was in it, and he remembers discussing it at the briefing session and telling the team that he knows Dlamini from his work in KZN.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
he told me that, that Sergeant Lamini was a witness, that he believed the man to be innocent, and that was basically that kind of conversation.
Okay. Now, unless the commissioners want to ask anything else regarding the Section 27?
Mr. Adams, during the tea break, can you please call your office, ask them to find the affidavit, the one that you signed and had commissioned, not this one which you disclaim. Can you please get them to send that document from your desktop or from your computer?
My desktop is at my house, Commissioner, not at my office. That's where I work from at night, because I'm on the road all day. I can. My wife gets home at 3. Look, I'm gonna try my level best to get it for you, because this thing is irritating me like you won't believe.
Why we wanted that to happen today is because your testimony is going to be finalized today.
Commissioner?
So we wanted to engage with that document whilst you are in the witness stand.
Yes, Commissioner, I understand that.
Yeah.
And if I have the document, I'm even willing to come back, because I'm more than willing to avail myself if you have another date for me. I understand you're also working under time constraints.
Yeah, please try. Let's see if you.
Let's see what you
manage to
can
get
do
it.
during the tea adjournment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Before you move on.
So I'm still going to be here after tea time.
It depends on you.
Mr. Adams, you are certain that you submitted only one affidavit to IDEC, one Section 27.
I handed that document to Chief Investigator Perumal. We never spoke about the Section 27. Again, I'm confused, Commissioner.
And you say this was in Cape Town when
Yes,
you handed it to him. So Ms. Johnson would have been incorrect when she said, because this is what she testified, when she said you delivered your affidavit, your Section 27 affidavit, to their Pretoria office at reception?
No, she's lying.
Okay.
I'm telling you categorically that she's lying.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. But you were in Johannesburg or in Gauteng in November, correct? You went.
I'm in Gauteng every month. I don't know if that helps you, but I'm in Gauteng a lot.
No, I'm being specific here because you said that you met with the IGI
Yes,
in November.
Yes, ma'am.
And when would that have been?
That I can confirm. I can't lie to you about the date, but I was at his office.
Okay. I just want you to see whether it would have been after 21 November, because your affidavit is dated 21 November, or whether it was before, because in your affidavit you say in that same week you met with the IGI, so that would have been, I think it was the first week in November.
Sorry, you mean the statement?
In your statement, yes, in your statement that you submitted to the commission, you said that you met with the office of the IGI in November.
What I can do is I can tell you that the IGI's logbook will tell you exactly what time and date I was there, but it was the same week. It was the same week.
And then, so you say you didn't drop off any affidavit at all at IDEX offices?
No, ma'am.
Had you ever been to IDEX offices?
I was asked to sign a, what do they call the thing? The introduction to something.
The preamble?
I was asked to sign a preamble, and what day, I can't tell you, but it was maybe a few weeks later. And I told them, I'm in Pretoria on this day, I can do that for you then. And as a matter of fact, the camera footage will tell you that on that day, I didn't even get out the car because I was running late. And so I called Chief Investigator Perumal. He met me at the door. I read through it, I signed it, and I drove off.
Okay.
What's the preamble to what?
To my statements, my A1s.
After your January meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's what I was going to ask, but that would have been in 2025?
Yes, probably. I would, there I couldn't help you, but that was the only time I ever went near their office. I've never been inside.
Well, we're trying to figure out when it would have been. It would have been after your meeting with them in Cape Town on the 6th of January?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
The reference on page 32 of your statement, if you can perhaps just go there.
Maybe before, if you're moving off completely.
My own statement, ma'am?
Commissioner Baloy has a question.
Yes. Okay. Can we then safely is it safe to assume that this affidavit at 512, the one that you have difficulty with, that you would have read it if it were your affidavit, because it bears your signature, you would have read it if it was given to you. You would have read it before you signed it, before you presented it to Ms. Solomons to sign for you, and having read it and seeing that there is no reference to the forklift complaint and the detail of the PKTT, that you would have taken issue with that if this was your affidavit? Because those were important issues for you.
Advocate Baloy, I promise you that if I look at the pages as I flip past it, it looks like mine. But there are details in there that I know I put in there. And I don't know to what end they were removed, but they were in there.
And you're certain that if this is your affidavit, then the forklift and PKTT allegations were removed from your affidavit?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ms. Ng.
Thank you. On page 32 of your statement, which is file 1 of your files.
There's no page 32 in here, ma'am. Ends at 28.
In your statement?
Yeah. File 1, oh, witness bundle, sorry, another witness bundle.
Be your statement bundle, actually.
I think that's a witness bundle. It's all witness bundles. Oh wait, I think I got it. Oh, yeah. 30.
32.
Paragraph.
Paragraph 245.
Yes, ma'am.
You say, I was contacted by the Office of the IGI in November 2024 during my efforts to have my criminal cases investigated by SAPS. An inquiry was made about the cases that I had lodged and asked whether I would attend their offices in Pretoria because the department had an interest in the cases that I had lodged with SAPS. During the same week, I visited the IGI's offices where I spent some time explaining the nature of my concerns. But you don't give us a date of when in November that would have been.
I'm sorry if I'm frustrating the work of this commission, but I'm terrible with dates and times. And when I went to the IGI, it was a simple appointment to express my concerns, hand over the document. Because in the phone call, his office asked me, do you have the documents? And I said, yes. Would you share it with us? I said, yes. So it wasn't a beacon that I can remember the date. If you're understanding what, it was just a meeting and that's the end of it.
Do you not keep a diary, Mr. Adams? As a public official and a member of parliament, I would assume that you keep a diary either because you claim for your travel expenses or you need to account for where you are during public time. Do you not keep a diary that sets out where you are? I mean, a meeting with an IGI is important enough for you to diarize it and know that on this date I must be at the IGI's offices and what was discussed there. So do you not keep those things?
Excuse me.
Yes.
I generally, I save my appointments on my phone, and that device has left me. And the other reason that I wouldn't bother with a book diary is because I don't claim from Parliament. Not a cent, ever. So if I have a meeting, let's say with you tomorrow, Commissioner, it will be on my phone for 9 o'clock with a reminder. But I don't write down in a book that I'm going there and I'm going there for travel claims and that. I don't get involved in that.
Okay.
And again, I apologize for frustrating your work because it's even frustrating to me. But like I say, the IGI's logs will tell you which day and which time I was there.
Mr. Adams, I just want to move on to another topic that I want to close off. There's a...
Before you do that, Mr. Adams, the conversations and meetings with the IGI, you said in the ad hoc committee that the IGI himself called you. You recall that was your testimony? Because in your statement, you say, in this statement that we are looking at, in 245, you say you were contacted by the office, which could be anyone in that office. You do recall that in the ad hoc committee, you
Yes,
said Mr. Faisal himself did call you.
Yes, ma'am.
And when he called you, had you had any prior contact with him? Did you know who he was? Had you met him somewhere? Had someone ever referred you or mentioned him to you?
I had heard of the office of the IGI, and I actually made a mistake at the ad hoc, to be honest with you. When I'm writing it down a second time, I realized that. And I said to myself, but at the ad hoc, anyway. So what happens is I get a call from the office of the IGI. It was a female, I can't remember her name. And she told me the IGI had asked her to make contact with me.
But how could you make that kind of mistake, that it's the IGI himself that called you? It's a very specific person. It's a head of office, and who holds a very important position. How could you possibly make a mistake that he called you?
It is, in my estimation, Commissioner Beloy, it was a very stupid mistake to make, a rudimentary one, but it was not intended to mislead anyone, because the call was from the IGI, but via his office. So I did make it. It was a very stupid, a casual, stupid mistake. And I do own it. I accept that. And as a matter of fact, as I was writing my statement, I knew the contradiction, but I put down what actually happened.
But if you pick up the contradiction, why are you not explaining it in your statement? Because it is quite a serious allegation or fact, if it happened, that the IGI himself called you. That's very important. And if at the time of drafting your statement, you realize that I made a mistake, why are you not correcting that in the statement?
I didn't think of the affidavit, my affidavit to you, as being something that, well, it shouldn't contradict what I said at the ad hoc, but I made a mistake at the ad hoc. And in hindsight, and with what you've taught me now, I should have actually corrected myself in the affidavit.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that, Commissioner.
No, you don't, it's okay.
No,
I guess we'll have to make our conclusions about it. It's difficult, I must say, speaking for myself.
And that's why I apologize, because I'm giving you extra work. I'm sorry, Commissioner.
It's very difficult for me to accept, let me say, to accept that nearly a year later, in your statement to us, you say, oh, I made a mistake back then when I said it was the IGI, and one has to decide what do we do with that, because you either lied to the ad hoc committee, and that's the impression you left them with, and or you're lying to us now when you say I made a mistake back then. One of these two institutions must hold you to have lied under oath. You accept that?
What I do accept, Commissioner, is that I made a mistake in front of the ad hoc committee, and I'm here admitting to the mistake and owning up to it and telling you that this is the correct version. I didn't. There's nothing in it for me to say anything like that. I made a genuine, stupid, sloppy mistake, and I own it. I own the mistake, and I apologize to you for giving you another conclusion to have to reach.
Well, I know you say there's nothing in it for you. I want to suggest one possible explanation is you might have now realized, oops, I shouldn't have said that in the ad hoc committee. I shouldn't have disclosed that it's the IGI himself that called me, because it is problematic that the IGI would have called you and you would have to explain that conversation. How did it come about that he knew to contact you? So you might have belatedly realized that is problematic and I need to fix it. That's one possible explanation.
No, definitely, Commissioner. And
okay, you accept that. Okay, all right, thank you. Lastly, before we leave the section 27 affidavit, and I accept that you have difficulties with it, as you have described it. In that paragraph 1, you express that you do not trust General Patekile. You do remember that was your position on day 1. So somehow, whoever may have doctored or interfered with your original affidavit at IDEC to create this, which, do you have it in front of you?
I have it in front of me.
Yes. Whoever might have rewritten your affidavit seems at paragraph 1 to have gotten it right, because you say you didn't trust, they say you said you don't trust General Patekile, and that's something that you repeated. That alone seems to suggest, well, this is your affidavit, actually, still, because there are things that are common to what you have said in the box and what is contained in here. What do you want to say anything about it?
There is so much about this affidavit that I would say yes. I'm questioning the parts that were omitted. If you understand what I'm getting at, Commissioner. The easy thing would be, yes, this is my affidavit. No, Ransami is mad. She's over here. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's things that something's not right here.
Okay. And when you say you didn't trust General Patekile, what is the basis for that? especially, and I want to limit it to when it comes to the handling of dockets. What history did you have that creates a basis or a reasonable basis for you to hold him in distrust?
I've always had a very cordial relationship with the general. I mean, the general would call me, well, I would call him more often, excuse me. So when I'm told that the provincial office has come to collect your dockets and that's not their job, they're not supposed to, I'm under the impression that the head of the provincial office knows about it. So I didn't trust him with that. It's not that the general did anything to me personally, but something was wrong in the provincial office, and I decided not to speak to him further about that.
So it was not because there's a history that made you, with him, that made you distrust him. It was just about these dockets.
I have lauded General Patikile when he's done right, and I have criticized him when I felt he was wrong, but it was always fair in my view. When the man does right, but just on this one issue, I thought I couldn't trust him on this.
Okay. Thank you.
But if I understood what you said in your evidence yesterday, it's that it was more his response to you when you told him what you had been informed about your dockets, and he said he's going to investigate it, and you weren't happy with his response. You didn't mention anything about not trusting him.
No, ma'am. I was stating the mood in the room, if you will, that I wasn't happy with his response. But the mistrust began as soon as I heard it was the provincial office. It was not a case of Patikile as anything. It's just I don't trust him on this issue.